Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Marion Wilson, CEO of Rapidemics. To the class of 2020, man, it's been a hell of a road. But I wanted to just take a little time out and speak to you all very briefly. So I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this, so I had to grind like that, to shine like this. I'm from a place called Philadelphia, and that statement is by a guy named Meek Mill. And the one thing I know about the class of 2020, each one of you all were grinding. It took a lot, but you made it. I know that it's disappointing that you didn't go on your prime. And I definitely know it sucks that you didn't get to walk across the stage. But even though you didn't have all of the glitz and the glamour, no one can take away the fact that you completed something that you started. That is the righteous part of a man and a righteous part of a woman, to finish what you started, because within you was great works. So that's why I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this, so you had to grind like that, to shine like this. 2020 is shining. And I want you to know that. And I also want you to know one thing too. You're the product of prayer. All those mornings when you were waking up, sometimes you had food in your stomach, sometimes you didn't. Sometimes grandma would scream your name, sometimes mommy would come and pull the sheets back. Sometimes dad would make you push you out the house. Sometimes you had no one. Sometimes you looked and went to school and said, I don't know how I'm gonna pass this test. And sometimes when you got the grade back and you were surprised yourself, seeing that the real hard work pays off. Those are the times that make you. Your life and accomplishments of graduating high school, college, grade school, wherever you were finishing your body of work right now, that is the soup of your success. And within that soup of success, there are a few things that help you that you never even know about. They got an old song where I used to live too. I used to live in South Carolina, and the name of that song was Somebody Prayed For Me. And guys, you were the product of prayer. Somebody prayed for you, for your safety as you heard gunshots on your walk to school. Somebody prayed for safety as you were on the school bus and the drunk driver missed you. Somebody prayed for you when they knew you said, Mom, I don't know if I'm gonna pass this test. Somebody prayed for you to graduate high school, college, grade school. Somebody prayed for you. And if you say, hey, like Kendrick Lamar, nobody prayed for me, recognize this. You're your ancestors' wildest dreams. For our ancestors who came in bondage with chains on their ankles and wrists as they came here looking at the stars, not even knowing where they were going, they prayed for times like this. For the people who were Holocaust victims and they sat in Auschwitz, they prayed for times like this. For the people who came here as cargo, as illegal immigrants, they prayed for times like this. For people who didn't know where they were getting their next meal from because they didn't have money, they prayed for times like this. They prayed for times where they could look at their children and say, son, daughter, your life will not be like mine. You will have a better life. And that life comes by way of education, and you have completed what you started. You are a product of prayer. And now is not the time to sit on the sideline. Now is not the time to sit in the house and sulk. Now is not the time to sit in the house and have a woe me attitude. Now is not the time to sit in the house and say, well, listen, I'll figure it out later. Now is the time to figure out a plan. Class of 2020, what is your plan? What is your next move? If you told your mom you didn't want to go to college, then what are you going to do? If you told your parent you didn't want to go to trade school, then what are you going to do? If you said you wanted to be an artist or a rapper, how are you moving with it? If you said you want to do whatever you want to do, what is your plan? What are your goals? Where are you going? Where are you right now besides in the house? Complaining, feeling bad, on the phone. You have to work at your craft now. Now is the time. Because if you sit in the house and wait for someone to come and save you, my brother or my sister, I'm going to tell you, they're not coming. And in this era where we are today, as we turn on the news and we see people who become victims for doing nothing less than selling a cigarette, when we see people who become victims because they do nothing less than jogging, when you see people become victims doing nothing less than sitting in their home and eating ice cream, when you see people becoming victims because they're just walking, understand this, that means it's something for you to do. This message is pointed to no race, no creed, no color, because everybody has a job to do. Some of you will become lawyers. Some of you will become gatekeepers to the community, saying, no, we're not going to have this in our community. Some of you will become good police who will say, man, that's wrong. Get your knee out of his neck. Class of 2020. We are waiting for you to push these truths into the world. Now is your time. And we need you more now than ever. And you must, because you have to. You must, because you have to. You must live fearlessly. We cannot allow these problems of the world to stunt your growth, class of 2020, and you've already taken the first step, because regardless of you walking across the stage or a prom, guess what? You have graduated, you have finished without the show. And now, since there's no show, let people know who you are by your actions. Allow yourself to walk through this world and let your gifts be showered upon us like rains on a cloudy day. Because we know when the clouds come, sooner or later it will be sunshine, and you are the rays that we're waiting to feed us. We need you more than ever right now in our lives. Listening to your thoughts, explaining to us how the world works, preparing your life for the new technologies that are coming. Being the freedom fighters for the elderly who cannot fight for themselves. This is your time, class of 2022. Some of you may say, man, I hear you. And that sounds good. But that's not my problem. That's none of my business. I will tell you this, my friend. Problems become very serious when they meet your doorstep, youngin'. So you have to make sure that you're fighting prior to them coming. If you know you are a person who has oratorical skills, it's time for you to go to law school. Take it online. If you know that you are good at cooking, you might need to feed the people who are protesting. Go to cooking class. Take it online. If you know that you are the person who is good with technology, get you a camera, take it online. If you know that you are going to do an endeavor of teaching to bring knowledge to the community, to the babies, take it online. Sitting at home is not an excuse to sit on the sideline. Sitting at home is an excuse to get in the game. And I charge you with this, class of 2020. And it's not that I'm even asking, I'm pleading, I'm begging you. From the west coast of the United States to the east coast of the United States, we need you all more now than ever. And I'll say this, now is your time. I'm going to keep all of you in my prayers. And I ask you that you keep Ahmaud Arbery in your prayers. And I ask that you keep Miss Breonna Taylor in your prayers. And I ask that you keep Mr. George Floyd in your prayers, as I keep you in mine. Because none of us know what will be tomorrow. So that means we must conquer the day. Class 2020, today is your day. Where will you start? When will you start? Where will you go? Will you chase your dreams? Will you catch them? Will you share them with the world? Because we need you. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Marion Wilson, CEO of Rapidemics.